Scorpio, listen closely, because if your spirit has been feeling restless, if something in you has been pacing like a caged storm, this is not random. Between December 7 and 13, an energetic front is moving through your field like a gathering storm cloud made of light, and it is carrying with it a radical upgrade to your abundance frequency. You did not click on this video by accident. You were pulled here. Your soul has been calling in a shift for a long time, and now the universe is answering in a language you understand. Intensity, depth, transformation. This is not about a little extra luck. This is about a fundamental change in how you relate to wealth, power, and the life you believe you deserve. If your chest feels tight or your heart feels like it just leaned forward, stay with me to the very end, because this message is a doorway, and you are already standing with your hand on the handle. For a long time now, you've been walking through seasons that felt like drought. Maybe you didn't always lack money on the outside, but inside you felt starved of safety, of stability, of the sense that life was holding you instead of you holding everything together. You've known what it means to check your balance and feel that knot in your stomach, to say, "I'm fine," when deep down you're tired of just surviving. Even when you've had enough to get by, there's been this undercurrent of anxiety, a quiet whisper that says, "This could disappear." That whisper has roots. It comes from old stories, inherited fears, karmic patterns that taught you to be grateful for crumbs and suspicious of full tables. But Scorpio, the energy moving in from December 7-13, is here to crack those old stories open like thunder splitting the sky. Imagine a storm, not of destruction, but of cleansing rain on soil that has been dry for far too long. A wealth storm. Not just money, but opportunities, insights, connections, and ideas that suddenly begin to converge, as if life itself has decided you've carried the weight long enough. This storm doesn't arrive like chaos you can't control. It arrives like alignment, a conversation that finally opens a door, a delayed payment that suddenly clears, a new client, a new idea, a new invitation that feels uncannily timed. You may notice small ripples at first, an unexpected refund, a discount, a job lead, a supportive message at the perfect moment, a sense of momentum where there used to be static. Don't dismiss these as no big deal. They are the first raindrops of a larger shift, proof that your energy is starting to attract what once avoided you. During this window, your intuition becomes your main weather radar. You might wake up with a sudden urge to check one specific email, revisit an old project, message a certain person, or look at an idea you parked months ago. You might feel a quiet yes towards something that didn't feel ready before, or a firm no toward obligations that used to pressure you into compliance. This is your inner compass, recalibrating to abundance. You are being shown where the flow wants to move and where it has been blocked. Your task is not to exhaust yourself chasing every possibility. Your task is to listen for what feels aligned, grounded, and strangely peaceful, even if it stretches you. Wealth that belongs to your soul path won't feel like a performance. It will feel like a deeper version of you finally stepping forward. And yet, as this wealth storm forms, there will also be turbulence. Old fears will try to rise like debris in the wind. Thoughts like, what if this doesn't last? What if I fail again? What if I'm not good enough to handle more? Don't judge yourself for feeling them. These are not signs that you're cursed. They're proof that something is shifting. You're brushing up against the limits of your old identity, the version of you who believed they were only allowed to exist on the edge of just enough. Between December 7th and 13, notice when you go to sabotage your own progress, procrastinating on an opportunity, downplaying your skills, underpricing your worth, saying it's nothing when something is clearly big. These patterns are the last storm clouds of a worn-out timeline. You don't need to fight them. You need to see them. Once they're seen, they start losing their power. This is also a week where the universe tests, not your worthiness, but your readiness. You may be given choices that ask, do you still believe you have to choose struggle to feel safe? Or are you willing to choose ease and trust? Maybe you're offered help and your instinct is to say, no, I've got it. Maybe someone wants to collaborate, but you assume they'll take advantage of you like others did before. Maybe an opportunity looks too good, and your first reaction is to search for the trap instead of the lesson. Your discernment is powerful, but be careful not to confuse intuitive caution with fear-based self-protection. The wealth storm forming around you requires a new blend of both, soft eyes and sharp instincts. Ask yourself with each decision, am I saying no because this is wrong for me, or because I don't believe I'm allowed to receive something this right? To anchor this energy, choose one simple ritual during these days. It doesn't need to be dramatic. Each morning between December 7 and 13, sit for a few minutes in silence. Place your hand over your heart and imagine a deep, warm, golden light swirling slowly in your chest, then expanding out into your solar plexus and down into your belly. Visualize that light as your abundance frequency rising, steady, calm, unafraid. Whisper softly, I allow aligned wealth to find me. I release the belief that I must suffer to be worthy. This isn't magic in the fantasy sense, it's alignment in the energetic sense. You're training your nervous system to recognize safety, not in lack, but in enough. Because if your body still believes abundance is dangerous, it will reject the very blessings your spirit has been praying for. Pay attention to the people who show up during this window. The wealth storm doesn't always arrive as cash. Sometimes it wears a human face. A mentor sharing insight that shortcuts years of trial and error. A friend recommending your work to someone in a position of influence. A stranger's story that suddenly gives you clarity about your own path. Not everyone who appears is meant to stay, but some of them are quiet messengers. You'll know who they are by how your energy responds. Not with chaos, but with a deep exhale, a sense of, this feels right, even if it scares me a little. These connections might plant seeds that bear fruit weeks or months from now, but between December 7 and 13, those seeds are easier to recognize if you're really present. There's another side to this storm, clearing. Before the new flow strengthens, you may be nudged, gently or strongly, to let go of situations that leak your abundance energy. That subscription you never use, that job that underpays you yet drains your soul, that dynamic where you always end up helping while your own needs remain last on the list. You might feel drawn to clean your workspace, organize your finances, finally check that account you've been afraid to open. Don't underestimate the spiritual power of practical actions, sorting, deleting, organizing, renegotiating. These are all ways of telling the universe, I am ready to handle more with clarity. A wealth storm doesn't pour into a cluttered container. It overflows what is ready. Scorpio, you also carry a unique relationship with power. You don't crave shallow attention. You crave depth, truth, and influence that actually matters. This week, money is not just about numbers. It's about reclaiming the right to shape your life instead of reacting to it. If you've ever felt guilty for wanting more, as if desiring wealth made you less spiritual or less kind, this is the time to rewrite that script. When someone deeply empathetic, loyal, and perceptive like you gains resources, the world becomes safer, not colder. The key is intention. Ask yourself, if I had more, what would I heal, build, support? Let those answers become your new why. The storm that's forming is not just meant to fill your pockets. It's meant to strengthen the foundation under your feet and, through you, steady the lives of those you care about. Throughout these days, watch for repeating symbols. Numbers like 8888, 808, 1111, coins appearing in strange places, or sudden references to storms, rain, or waves. Again, this isn't about superstition, it's about communication. Sometimes the universe speaks in patterns, nudging your attention to say, yes, this is the path. Keep going. When you notice one of these signs, pause for a moment. Take a slow breath and quietly affirm, I am in the flow. I choose aligned abundance over fear. These tiny pauses create micro moments of recalibration, reminding your mind that you are no longer at the mercy of random events. You are in relationship with the energy around you. If at any point during this window you feel overwhelmed, as if the emotional weather inside you is too intense, don't assume it means you're failing. Storms stir up what's been settling at the bottom. Tears, frustration, restlessness, these can all be signs that your old scarcity stories are surfacing for one last round before they loosen their grip. Instead of pushing those feelings away, treat them as guests who are finally packing their bags. You can say to yourself, yes, I see you. You kept me alive once, but I am not living in that chapter anymore. This act of inner witnessing is a form of spiritual wealth, the wealth of self-awareness, which then becomes the foundation for every external change you're ready to welcome. As your abundance energy rises, you may also be challenged to speak differently about yourself, not in fake positivity, but in truth-filled language that honors your growth. Catch yourself when you say things like, I'm always broke, money never stays, or people like me don't get ahead. These words are old spells you've been unconsciously casting over your own path. Try gently shifting them. I am learning to build lasting stability. Money is starting to move more easily in my life. Opportunities are beginning to recognize me. These phrases might feel strange at first, but they are like new channels being dug in your field, ready for the rain that is already forming in the sky. By the time this wealth storm begins to fully crest, toward the end of this energetic window, you may notice one or two key moments that stand out. A decision made with unusual clarity, a small breakthrough that feels bigger than it looks on paper, a deep inner peace about a step you're taking. Don't rush past these. By the time this wealth storm begins to fully crest, toward the end of this energetic window, you may notice one or two key moments that stand out. A decision made with unusual clarity, a small breakthrough that feels bigger than it looks on paper, a deep inner peace about a step you're taking. Don't rush past these. Mark them somehow. Write about them in a notebook. Light a small candle in gratitude. Say out loud, this is different. I am not who I was this time last year. Rituals like this might seem symbolic, but they help your subconscious register, we are in a new pattern now. And once your inner world believes that, your outer world has no choice but to adjust. As we come to the close of this message, let this land gently but deeply. You are not begging the universe for leftovers. You are learning to stand in the center of your own field, recognizing how much was always meant to grow there. This wealth storm is not punishment, not chaos, not something to fear. It is a rebalancing. A response to all the times you chose integrity over shortcuts, compassion over cruelty, effort over apathy, especially when no one was watching. You are not being rewarded like a child. You are being met as an equal participant in your own destiny. Your role now is to stay awake, stay grounded, and say a clear, steady yes to the opportunities, insights, and support that resonate with your soul. And before we finish, let this be spoken softly, like a final blessing in the dark. What you've heard here is not a rigid prophecy or a guaranteed outcome, but a mirror held up to one powerful possibility in your field. This narrative is a reflection of an energetic pattern available to you, a story whispered toward the part of you that is ready to rise. If these words stir something real inside you, Scorpio, take what strengthens you and leave what doesn't. Let it be a thought experiment for your soul, a way of exploring the power and potential already living in your own choices, your own focus, your own courage. This is not financial advice, not a promise of instant riches, but an invitation to align with your deepest capacity to create change inside and out. If it resonates, breathe it in and walk with it. If it doesn't, let it pass like a cloud after the rain, knowing that not every storm is meant for every shore. You, however, remain the constant, the one who feels, who transforms, who decides what to make of the energy now gathering around you.